thing that you probably want to know is how do you print an image? And printing an image is very simple. It's similar to printing a word processing document. You just go up to File and go to Print. And it's Control P if you want to use the shortcut. When you do so, you're going to get this little dialog box. And the main thing you need to know about this is you need to make sure that you're on the right printer and that your paper size and orientation are what you want them to be. Normally you'll have letter size paper, but a lot of the times you may want to go portrait instead of landscape. So these two buttons is how you toggle back and forth between portrait and landscape. A couple of other things that you can select while you're in here is you can select the print size. You could go 4x6, or if you wanted to do an 8x10, you select that size. And when you have your options the way you want them set up, just go ahead and hit print, and it will print out your image. Now, printing is not the only thing that you can do with your photos. You can also use a thing called Creation Wizard to create more interesting ways to distribute your photos to your friends. And to use a Creation Wizard, what you need to do is you need to come up here to this Create button. And the Create button should be available regardless of whether you're an expert, guided, or quick mode. You'll always see this Create button. So let's go back to expert and then hit the Create button. And here you've got some options. You can create photo prints, you can create a photo book, you can create a greeting card, you can create a photo calendar, you can create a photo collage, a slideshow, a CD jacket, a DVD jacket, or a CD-DVD label. So like I said, you have a lot of different options of things that you can create from your photos from the Create Wizard. So let's go ahead and make a photo calendar. And first it's going to ask you if you want everything saved, and let's go ahead and save that. And now it's going to bring you into this photo calendar wizard. And the first thing you get to do with your photo calendar is you get to set up how the calendar is going to look. And right now it's setting it up for February 2014. But we actually want it to start in January. So let's go ahead and start it in January 2014. And then we're going to go ahead and do a 12-month calendar running 11 by 8.5. And we're going to print it locally on our own printer. Next, you have your theme. Themes is where you pick what your calendar is generally going to look like. Now, when you're looking at themes, and this is the preview of what that theme is going to look like, it's going to throw your pictures into these default spots right there. So it's not going to have those pictures, but the background and the calendar text, all of that's going to look like how this theme is set up. But you have a lot of different themes to pick from. You can pick the kids theme, you can go with a monochrome, you can go with a storyteller, lots of different themes that you can pick from, and just find one that you like and go with that. I kind of like monochrome, so we'll go with that. And once you have your theme picked, go ahead and hit OK. And this is going to take a second. And now it's taking you into this more advanced screen where you're actually going to start putting your calendar together. And as you can see, the fish that I had up and open went ahead and went on the front page of my calendar. And then you got to double click into these areas, and it says calendar title here, and you're going to go ahead and add a title. And by going to the next page, you can see that it says click here to add photo or drag a photo here. Well, if we go to the photo bin, you can see we only have one photo open. So you could drag that there and it would put it in. But we don't really want to put that one in there. And we don't have any other photos open. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we're going to double click. And that's going to take us to our trusty dialog box with all of our photos. And we're going to decide what photo to throw in for January. And one by one, you'll go to each month and add a photo for each month. And here we are in December, and we're placing our last photo for the year. Let's just go ahead and grab that one right there. And now that you have all of your photos in the calendar wizard, all you have to do is go save and save your calendar. And that's how you create a photo calendar in Photoshop Elements 12. Next, we're going to talk about how to create a slideshow. And for this particular creation, we've decided to change over to our organizer window. And we're going to go ahead and go up to Create and go to Slideshow this time instead of Calendar. And this will bring you to this dialog box. And this is where you set your preferences for creating a slideshow. And in the slideshow preferences, you're going to set up your default options. And the first one is the static duration. And the static duration is how long each slide is going to be on screen. And currently that's set up to 5 seconds. But you can change it all the way down to 1 second, which is really fast. The general rule is 3 seconds is about as short as you want to have things on the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and go with 3 because I like things to move pretty quickly. And then next you're going to set up your transition. And as a transition, you can have none at all where it'll just cut from one photo to the next. Or you can do a random transition where it's going to select different random transitions every time. You can do a barn door, which that shows you exactly what that looks like in the preview button. You could do a box wipe, which starts in the top corner and comes down. You could do a center shape, which kind of looks like a cross. Checker wipe, clock wipe, goes around like a clock. Or just a basic fade. I like a basic fade myself. It just fades from one photo into the next. So we're going to leave it like that. Your transition duration. I like my transitions to be quick, so I'm going to go with 1 second. Next, you can select the background color. You really can't see a background, but right there you see just a little bit of black. That's your background color. If you want to select a different background, you can do so, but I would suggest that you either go with black or white just to keep it on the classy side. You can do a pan and zoom on all slides. If you do a pan or zoom, what it will do is it's going to zoom into the slide and then zoom out. I'm going to keep that unchecked. You can also include photo captions. You can include audio captions as narration if you have them. You can repeat the soundtrack until the last slide. So if the music that you're playing under your slideshow doesn't fit or runs out before the slideshow is over, it's going to loop it and keep playing. That's probably a good thing to do because if you were halfway through and the music stopped, it would be a little weird. And you can crop to fit the slide. I'm going to select both of those. And once you have everything set up the way you want it, go ahead and hit OK. And that's going to create your slideshow for you. So one final thing that we need to talk about before we leave the Photoshop Elements 12 lessons is how to share your creations. We just talked about how to create different things in Photoshop Elements 12, but there's times when you might want to share your pictures and photos with other people. And you can do that easily by going next to your Create button to this Share button right here and hitting this little drop down arrow and clicking on that. You'll see that you have these different options. You can do an email attachment, you can do photo mail, you can burn a video DVD or a Blu-ray, or you can do a PDF slideshow. So let's select the photo that we want to share and then come back up here to this button and let's share it as an email attachment. And now you're going to get in the panel bin, you're going to get the picture and some options. You can set the photo size by going maximum, big, very big, or if you just want to share it small, you can share it as small. Next, you can select the quality. And finally, you're going to select who's going to receive it. You can enter that by clicking on this, adding a contact. Let's say we're going to send it to John Doe. And all you need is a name and an email address. And once that's in there, hit OK. And then if you have contacts in here, you'll get a list of all your contacts. But for this purposes, we're just going to set up a generic John Doe. And whoever's highlighted is going to be your recipient. And go ahead and hit OK. You'll see your recipient's name listed with a checkbox next to it. And once you have that all set up, go ahead and hit Next. And that will send off your photo for you.